Did we once have giants walking on this earth? This is something we have only believed to be a sci-fi concept, but once you begin to explore this subject, you realise how a lot of our history has never been mentioned. Yet there is a huge amount of physical evidence that giants once walked this earth. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men. A giant is someone classed over 7 feet tall, and there have been hundreds of skeleton remains found around the planet, reaching 10 foot and over in size. The largest physically photographed giant in the Western world was a Robert Wadlow, who grew to 8 foot 11 and born with normal sized parents. His great size and continued growth in adulthood was due to hypertrophy of the pituitary gland, which results in abnormally high levels of human growth. Strange how we focus on his height being an illness, yet there are hundreds of accounts around the world that suggest being a giant is not an illness. We have a 4-foot footprint that was found in a rock in South Africa, estimated to be 200 million years old, spanning 4 feet along. The estimated size of this human would have been 27 feet tall. Locals call it Goliath's footprint. Some say it's a natural erosion pattern, but it still leaves researchers baffled. James Rickelton, back in 1903 at Imperial Durbar in Delhi. He was a photographer journalist who travelled the world 7 times and was known to pose with what's called the Kashmir Giants. The Kashmir Giants were twin brothers working as guardsmen for the local palace. Ecuadorian legends spoke of a time when incredible giant beings inhabited the remote region of Ecuador, where giants walked the earth and built huge megalithic cities. In 1964, remains of large bones were found by a Father Carlos in the Ecuadorian jungle, which were researched to be 10,000 years old. They are estimated the size of the human to be around 25 feet tall. Closer to present day, 2012 in Ecuador, a group of explorers discovered a pyramid complex in the jungle not known to the public. It was labelled as the City of Giants. Many archaeological findings were found, but the most interesting were the oversized tools that were not physically possible for a human of our size to use. Huge holes bored through the centre of rocks. The discovery of the lost City of Giants is one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 21st century. So without a doubt, giants existed, and yes, this begins to get crazy again, as this isn't what we've been taught in our school books. 25 feet humans isn't possible, but these stories are documented in history and happened. The evidence is staggering, and it can explain a lot of unanswered questions about our world. All the information in this video are documented accounts. Let us continue. So many stories to giants existing in Africa. In 1936, 2 French archaeologists led an expedition to Chad in north central Africa. As they crossed the plains, they saw some areas covered with small mounds. They ended up digging up remains of a gigantic race of 10 feet skeletal structures in length. According to the natives, these were called the Sayos giants. Chad, a magical landmass in Central Africa, controlled by the crude oil industry. It is known as the Babel of the world. It has over 200 ethnic groups and 100 languages spoken in the country. Gold and uranium mining industry. This is a very interesting place and surrounding area. But where do those mining tunnels lead? According to legend, in the deep forests of ancient Africa, there once lived men so tall they could look over the trees. When they spoke, the leaves trembled and the earth shuddered at their every step. These monolithic men possessed great wisdom and carried with them an effigy of Africa's heart, imbued with a true spirit or soul. Africa is a special land, and it's no wonder it's been attacked for so many years. But just like the American Indians, Africa's sacred knowledge is still in the land. In the North American Indians' history, there are countless accounts. We have the Wincosan giants discovered in 1912. 18 skeletons found 7.5 to 10 feet in size. The customs of the Choctaw Indians also mention that the giants once inhabited the Tennessee state. Continual battles occur between the Choctaw Indians and the giants. Named as the Naholo giants, were 10 feet high, and another connection to the Choctaw Indians is how they spoke of underground rivers that ran into an inner earth. The Lenape Indians of Pennsylvania talk of large white giants excavating that area, reporting the giants had blonde and red hair. The list goes on and on. Only recently in 2015 you had the Smithsonian Institute openly admit in court that they had been destroying bones of giants since the early 20th century. These were skeletons reaching between 6 to 12 feet in height and would be a key part to understanding our true evolution as a species. There has no doubt been a major cover-up from major Western archaeological institutions and a manipulation to suppress discoveries and findings. So the question we ask is, why is it being suppressed? Why is our history trying to be erased? History helps us understand the world better, so what is stopping us from evolving? There are a lot of biblical references to giants. The Nephilim giants were a violent offspring created when evil angels procreated with human women in the days of Noah. Were the floods in the Bible created to shed the evil giants from the earth? Did the giants retreat into the inner earth? The story of David and Goliath may be true or not, may be a metaphoric story, but he was still fighting a giant. In Greek mythology, the giants are spoken of as the Titans and are mentioned as the Cyclops. The Titans were known to fight the gods, and most Greek mythology evolved from these battles. In the Nordic mythology, the giants were supernaturally empowered like Norse gods. Generally, the gods in Norse mythology represent order, while the Jotnar are associated with chaos. The Jotnar were often seen as the ones who created the conflict. They would take their victims to the Jotunheim, the Eater's realm. There were two types of giants in Norse mythology, the frost and the fire giants, and were the central roles around Ragnarok, which was the catalysm destruction of the cosmos and everything in it, the apocalypse. After visiting Iceland and Norway, and you look into the depths of that rocky, snowy, vast, unknown landscape stretching for miles up into the Arctic region, there is an enchanted magic which is indescribable. It is an ethereal energy that takes you into another dimension. There is the classic English fairy tale Jack and the Beanstalk. Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. Is this not suggestive of giants disliking humans? It is very possible that stone circles and settlements in UK were placed by a giant race. This is a very logical explanation, as some stone circles and the way they are positioned would have been impossible to build 2,000 years ago. As the Romans conquered Britain, any giant would have been looked upon as the black sheep and cast out of society. Although no evidence of this, maybe they weren't seen fit for purpose to where the mechanistic Western culture was going. They would have been hunted down, treated like witches, erased or used for human experimentation. Maybe their only way out would have been to retreat to the inner earth. Were humans once a larger size? Did we have small and large humans? When you look at humanity, maybe our physical size collectively comes down to us. Once humans were strong on this planet, but over time there was no need to be big, as needs were being met by corporate sources. Maybe through our own psyches we have programmed our own genetics and DNA to stop recreating a giant species, or maybe something cut us off from it. Was it any accident that during the Vietnam War, one of the most bombed areas has had the biggest archaeological findings on this subject, called the Plain of Jars? So we don't know yet to the true existence of giants, or have it yet to be disclosed, but we can explore this fascinating subject and find many interesting facts about our true hidden history. Thank you for watching the Hidden History series, and I hope you enjoyed this video. All these videos are created to keep your mind and imagination open. So please subscribe for weekly films, documentaries and music videos.